Astrology 2025, Neptune in Aries, and I talked about this in recent videos, but I'm going to talk about it here again. Because what we're seeing as we get to the buildup of Neptune's first ingress into Aries in, 180 years or however long it is, 150? I should know this, but I don't have it off the top of my head. It's the 1870s is when Neptune leaves Aries and enters Taurus. And so what does that put us? 150 years, I think. So I was close enough. But Neptune in Aries is about to happen in 2025, first time in that long. And we're going to have Neptune entering Aries on the 30th of March. I'm recording this now on the 2nd of February, a month away by calendar assignation. 2 months roughly if you're going to estimate days. But it's about to be here. And it's a major collective transit. It's a major transit that impacts the collective energy, the world at large, what we call in the astrology community, mundane astrology. Neptune in Aries is, in terms of a first layer of delineation, I would start with the mundane. I think that's where it's most potent in terms of grappling with what it means. And as I've said multiple times in this channel, it's been about these disputes in North America, fighting in North America. It's just a proxy phrase for what the core theme, or one of the core themes of Neptune in Aries is. Here we go. I mean, I can't believe this week we have officially now a trade war, highlighting that second word, trade war, right? War in North America. Tariffs on Canada, tariffs on Mexico, then retaliatory tariffs from Canada and Mexico to the United States. So we're living it, and I just think it's one of those events where it's just kind of, you take a deep breath and you go, oh, okay, it's starting to manifest. You know, astrologers have been talking about this for a long time, me included. I think back 3 or 4 years ago, I think I began talking about it. I think it was 2023, was it? Or 2022 even, that Dan Waits and I made a series on his channel called The Astrology of the 2020s, where we broke it all down. We're like, hey, this North America tension's a big deal for Neptune and Aries. And now we're on the cusp of it, and we begin to see what it might mean. And I think there's a takeaway here for how to live with transits as they unfold, or how to be with transiting energy as it arrives and it begins to show itself about how it wants to materialize in our world. As the linkage begins to happen with the transiting symbolism and then the life manifestation. And in some ways it's just standing in awe of the divine, poetic nature of the world, of the symbolic divinity of reality. And you're like, wow, this really is these echoes that are quite accurate, and we can kind of open up a part of ourselves to maybe ideas of not in control as much as we think we are, that there's other forces in play, that we don't have to personalize or blame ourselves. Maybe we're not as quick to anger when we realize we're resting in a matrix of symbolism that's this moving, cyclic activation. And I think some of that can give us peace, and we can rest in that, knowing that we didn't cause it, we're not controlling it, and we can just let it play out such that it will be over. I mean, Neptune will leave Aries in the 2030s, 14 years from now, so late 2030s, it'll all be over. And I take solace in knowing that I'm part of a greater whole. I mean, that helps me sometimes to realize, hey, there's other things that aren't my identity. There's other things that aren't my little ego story that I'm connected with and to. And it's very Neptune and Aries, right? Aries being the assertions of selfhood and of the egoic activity, the passions and then the actions that flow from that. And then Neptune bringing diffusion and dispersal to those identities and those strongly held senses of ego and self and the passions that those produce. So I think that might be one strategy here as the world gets crazy, as 2025 gets crazy, as the wars in North America ramp up. Now a trade war, let me be clear. And I don't think we've seen anything yet. I mean, we're approaching the 30 March ingress, and it may get more surreal, more wild, more, I can't believe this is happening. And again, I go back to this, not many astrologers had this on the bingo card. I saw that there's talk of war with the cartels now. I mean, literally mobilization of American troops in the army to go after cartels in Mexico. One of the new Trump officials has been saying that we're going to attack these cartels. In the last day, I saw these headlines. So just know as it begins ramping up right here in 2025, we can kind of acknowledge the interconnective nature of our lives, and we can give ourselves over to these greater cycles and this greater interconnective matrix that we're in and that we're a part of, and that these events are connected to and a part of as much as anything else. Cosmic unfoldment for a cosmic purpose that we might not know what that purpose is. We don't have all the information, definitely don't have all the information. And I mean that strictly speaking. Life is way greater than what we believe in our little worlds and in our little minds. So here in 2025, it's just great to be alive, isn't it? It's great to be here to witness how astrology has some literal unfoldment, because it confirms our craft and the power of our craft. It's a great time to be an astrologer, I guess is what I'm saying. And I encourage all of us, all of you astrology enthusiasts or astrology practitioners out there to, stand in the awe of planetary movements showing themselves in the material world, and the truth of that, and how it can motivate us. It motivates me to be a better astrologer. I want to stay connected more closely to astrological symbolism. I want to study and learn more about astrology because its power is revealing itself to us here in 2025. And this happens all the time. As a working professional astrologer, I see it every day with clients. It's like, wow, what is this? How did this so accurately, with the symbols of the two-dimensional map, reflect what was going on in the world of a person? It really blows your mind almost continually. It's actually why this path chose me, was because you start studying, like you say, all right, I have a moon sign. Wow, what's my moon sign? And you're like, wow, that is quite accurate. And then you start, at least in my case, going back to events that were big in my life and looking at the transits and saying, okay, wow, a Venus retrograde, and my ex-girlfriend messages me after 10 years, or whatever it is, these literal delineations. By the way, that's something to think about. We've got a Venus retrograde. It will station retrograde on the 1st of March this year in Aries and back to Pisces. So that Venus retrograde is going over these degrees where Neptune will be on the 30th of March. Mercury retrograde as well. So maybe that's why I wanted to talk about this so much in a few of these recent videos, is because we're saturating and reviewing this story of Pisces to Aries, which Neptune will experience this year and in the next year. And so it's good to just be paying attention to it. It's the Saturn cycle as well. It is the Neptune retrograde. Pisces and Aries, Pisces and then Aries, and then back to Pisces and then back to Aries, Pisces and Aries, and back to Pisces and then back to Aries. What can it mean for us this year and in the next year? Because Saturn traverses over that boundary 3 times. Neptune traverses over the boundary 3 times. What is the 0 point of Aries, or the 1st degree of the zodiac? It's the beginning of it all, right? Every year we celebrate Astrological New Year when the sun ingresses into that degree. It is the beginning. I think we need to think about 2025 and 2026. It's great new beginnings at deep and profound levels that we have access to, but it's not going to be a clean beginning. It's not going to be, here we are and we know exactly what it is. We're traversing back into the interconnected dream. We're waking up and then going back asleep. We get out of bed, we say the dream is over, and then we realize, no, we're still dreaming, or no, I want to go back to the dream to finish out the narratives that I experienced in the dream. Have you ever had that you want to return back to the dream because it was so enticing and so interesting, and there was so much good work being done in the dreamscape, And then you wake up and you're like, no, let me go back. And I've done that before. You go back and you finish out the stories and the narratives of the dream, and then you wake back up finally. But I think there is a big question here in 2025 and 2026, just what is dream and just what is reality? And we don't even have to answer that. I mean, it may all be a dream, or it may all be real, and it probably is a little bit of both of those things mixed together. I've been deep into the David Lynch work, Mulholland Drive, as you know from that last live stream I did, and that's what is one of the themes of that picture. Same Venus star point cycle as 2025 in 2001 when Mulholland Drive was released. But is Diane also a dream object? And Betty's also a dream object? We just don't really know, and I don't think the film answers it. The continual dream. Yet there is this idea of waking up, and waking up is real at one level. I mean, I got out of bed today and I'm now into the world, and I'm feeling objects in the real world. That's a real thing at some level, some meaning of real. What is real, what isn't real? Again, a major theme of 2025 and 2026, and it relates back to what I was talking about earlier. Astrology has some realness. Astrology is real, astrology works. The movements of the heavens evoke symbolism that matches the material unfoldment. That's a fact. And we're seeing it in 2025 with Neptune and Aries right on the cusp of it here, and this North American upheaval is taking place. So to have a great February 2025, enjoy the direct station of Jupiter happening 2 days from the recording of this video. This is kind of a video offered to Jupiter as it's stationing direct in Gemini, the sign of astrology, or one of the signs of astrology, an homage to astrology and its power, and it can guide us through the tumult here of 2025. So peace to everyone, take care, talk soon, bye-bye.